Yes. Getting funky right here on The Breakdown. Welcome back to The Breakdown, Las Vegas. Yours truly, Professor Knight, checking in.
Hey, Lady AK Advanced Knowledge, I'm here.
Of course, you know your man Sweet Lou has come through. What's up, Breakdown?
Hey now.
All right.
I like that cup right there, man. What was that? Who was that?
I just asked the song. I just asked Brother Paul that. Who sings that song?
Yeah, that was nice.
Brother Paul's the DJ.
He's still not telling.
Yeah, Brother Paul.
He want to keep it to himself.
Okay, it's a secret.
It sounded like it was John A, but
that's exactly who I was thinking.
Brother Paul, now I'm appalled.
Yeah, well, you know, Brother Paul's all about Gospel Sunday, so this is not his, this secular music. So I know, don't even go there.
He's doing a good job.
Go there.
Don't go there. Yeah.
Brother Paul said, "Don't go there.
Don't go there." You know about Drake and Chingy and all. Chingy and all. He said, "Who?"
Right there.
So, Sweet Lou, you want to do the honors, or I'm gonna bounce past to somebody so we can introduce our next guest and break down.
Well, listen, it is a pleasure, truly an amazing pleasure, man, to have the studio with amazing guests. As you guys know, we're here because we're serving a purpose in our community, man, and we allow people to come in prospectively and respectfully to come in and talk about what's happening in their lives and what impact they're making. Of course, that's why we titled this show The Breakdown, so they can truly come in here and break it down, man, and talk about their deliverables, man, as it relates to what's happening in our community, man. So it gives me great pleasure, truly a great honor, man, to introduce my main man. Of course, he's my left and right hand man. Mr. Jeff Jones in the building, man. Welcome, sir. How you doing?
Hey. Don't nobody know who Jeff Jones is.
Jeff Jones. Hold on.
That's true.
That's the government name. We need the street name.
I'm at the comma right now. Hold on. I'm at the comma. Let me get to the period.
Okay. It's a comma. It's a semicolon.
A semicolon. You know what I'm saying? All right, Mr. Jeff Jones, that's actually sitting here, also known as Jazz Mataz.
Yeah.
In them streets.
In the streets. Yeah. And remember, we go from the streets to the suites.
Yes,
that's
sir.
right.
You know what I'm saying? So
yes, we do.
So from the streets is Jazz Mataz. When he's at the suites, it's Jeff Jones.
Hey, writing the check is Jeffrey E. Jones, and the E stands for every single penny.
Right.
I like that.
So initially, I'm just gonna set it. I'm just gonna give it a segue. Then I want you to take it away. So initially, welcome to the studios, man. We're truly proud of you, man. Of course, recently retired from the county.
Yes.
Of course, as juvenile probation.
Yes, sir. And
from the county, and then naturally he was just on hiatus for roughly about a year or so,
right.
And then he got plugged in to this amazing nonprofit organization.
Right.
Where I say they call it CORE, but I added a S and a D and say they scored.
Okay.
When they got Jazz.
Right.
So I gave it. I say
nice.
Scored.
Yes.
Right.
Did y'all know that? See,
Yeah.
Sweet Lou came through.
If they don't know, now they know.
So I say they scored.
Yes,
so when
that's
he
right.
got hired, I put an S, he'll tell you, and I put a D, and I said, you know what?
time.
It's scored.
Yes, sir.
So again, Mr. Jones, talk about CORE, talk about the representatives that you have in the room, and we'll go from there.
Okay, so I brought my team to get today. Now, first of all, CORE is not just CORE, and it could not be CORE without being powered by the Rogers Foundation. And so I brought Michelle Sanders here, who's the executive vice president of the Rogers Foundation, and she is one of the big pushes behind CORE and all of the work that we do. And I also brought Celinda Dominguez here, and Celinda is a social work manager and Tujan manager in CORE, and she'll tell you about what she does, and then also program director, here, Renisha O'Donnell in the next room. So, as a unit, basically we work together to help what you guys talked about just earlier about underserved youth and their families. And in doing that, what we do is anything that we can do to give them upward mobility, economic mobility, and enhance their lives. And so, that's what we're all about. And we do that right now at West Prep and at Democracy Prep, and we're going into Brindley and another school in North Las Vegas that had not been announced yet. So we're doing the hard work, or what most people call hard work. I call it heart work.
Nice. I like that.
Because you got to have a heart to do it. So
yes, you do.
So I brought my team so they can answer any questions that you guys have. Because as you guys know, I transitioned to this position after working in the juvenile justice system for quite a while. But I have subject matter experts on my side to help me navigate through the waters of the nonprofit world. And so they can answer any questions that we have as they assist me tonight. Now, the Rogers Foundation gives away about $3 million in scholarships a year. Want me to say that again?
Yes, please.
The Rogers Foundation, which powers CORE, gives away about $3 million in scholarships a year. Now, it's not without effort. It's not without effort. You're going to have to put some work in. And so part of that work comes from the core of CORE. The work that we do in terms of working with kids with social emotional awareness, self-awareness, community service projects, enrichment opportunities, and those types of things. It's an after-school leadership program that helps those kids that wouldn't otherwise get that kind of attention and make them better human beings from the onset. And we do that in a long-term process. That long-term is from the 6th grade all the way to the 12th grade. And then we have an alumni cohort that we have an alumni coordinator that can communicate with those individuals that have already graduated and want to go on to college and want to go to trade schools, and he can access certain avenues and certain when they reach obstacles, then he assists them with going through those obstacles, and they just make a phone call and reach out. And so there's a lot that happens in between all of that, and I think that Celinda can talk about that a little bit more.
All right, before we go to Celinda, wait, I need AK is going to come, but real quick, the day you started in CORE is the day you unretired. When was that? Share that real quick.
It was really.
Yes, really.
I really consider myself still retired because I retired from Clark County. I just had a new birth in my new chapter in new career at CORE. Now I was already on the board of CORE, so some folks don't know that.
So you segued.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Nothing happens accidentally. It's all intentional.
Yes.
And so CORE thought enough of me to allow me to apply for the executive director position. I applied, and next thing you know, I'm sitting here at KCEP with the professor, Lady AK, and my man, Sweet Lou Collins.
All right. Now, Lady AK has a question.
I do. So, Mr. Jones.
Yes, ma'am.
See, I'm doing it right now. I want us to keep in mind that here on The Breakdown, a lot of our listeners sometimes are new to the city. Sometimes they just moved in this morning and been moving their station around, and they found 88.1, and now they realize this is probably where I should get my information from. So while a lot of people may be familiar with what CORE is, can someone here rather explain exactly what CORE is and how do parents go about getting their children involved in something like this, as you all make it sound so good?
Well, as I said, CORE is a long-term leadership opportunity for those kids that are in underserved communities and historically underserved communities, and those are 1- and 2-star schools. Like, for example, shout out to West Prep, because that's one of our schools. Democracy Prep, that's one of our schools. And so in those schools, a teacher can refer their student, or a parent can refer their student, and there's a referral process, and we have at those schools, we have student meetings where we can meet the students and talk to them about what CORE does, and talk to them about the opportunities that exist within CORE. But also we have, once a child gets into CORE, then we have what we call advisors and social emotional champions that help them navigate through what CORE is all about.
So is it something like, is it happening while the student is in school, in class? Is there someone that's coming in and taking the student out of the class? Are they sitting with the student? Is it an actual classroom or program? Just a visual for parents who are thinking, hey, this might be something my child needs.
Right. I'll let Celinda, I'll defer to Celinda.
Hi, Celinda.
Okay, hold on. We switching microphones and headphones.
Yeah, when we got a packed house, it gets down like this.
Yes. Hello. So in that regard, our program is an out-of-school program, which means that the scholars come to us after school on campus.
Okay.
And so we provide a safe place, a non-traditional classroom. So we have flexible seating. We really try to break away from the desk piece because we don't want to make it feel like it's another class.
Okay.
And so it's a really fun, relaxed environment for scholars, even the lighting, the colors. So they come to us after school in our core office or our core academy room, and that's where our social emotional learning program takes place and our advisors lead it. So they're with us about 2 hours after school.
Okay. And then what does transportation and snacks and stuff look like?
Yes, so snacks is important. So we always have a variety of snacks. The previous year we partnered with 3 Square through their Kids Cafe. Right now we're identifying other options as well, just to have a variety. But we make sure that we have something. We also partner with Project 150, which is another nonprofit, and they provide a lot of different snacks, food bags for the family, so if the scholars want to take something home, or even snack bags. United Way of Southern Nevada, who is one of our grantor partners, provided us with about 200 snack bags. So we've been distributing those throughout the semester.
Absolutely amazing. As I look through your brochure, I see that 100% of your class of 2022 scholars had received college acceptance.
Yes, that was a big accomplishment. Our advisors, our core academy manager Vita Johnson, they really led that piece. So we just worked really hard with each of our scholars because that was our next biggest graduating class, is the class of 22. And a lot of scholars, they're scared, they're nervous, they don't know what they really want to do. I mean, how many of us really knew what we want to do? I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up, right? So we just wanted to provide them with that opportunity to feel that achievement, applying to CSN, applying to UNLV, depending on what they were eligible for based on their transcript. We encouraged them, we guided them to ensure that they submitted their application and received an acceptance. Whether that was truly their next step or not, it's just they know that they have an option to fall back on.
Well, not only that I'm sure that does something for their emotional state and their little baby egos to know that, hey, even if I don't want to do it, it's still possible. It's still something that I know could possibly be in my cards, and so I can take advantage of other options and opportunities. And if I want, I have something to fall back on, which is always so awesome for them, especially for students. And when we say underserved, these are students who at one point didn't think they would even graduate, nonetheless be accepted to college.
Exactly.
So I think that's amazing. As I skim through the brochure, I see this big, beautiful page that's jumping out at me that reads Parent Academy.
Ooh, yes.
Holla at your girl.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So that is my pride and joy per se. It was initiated 2021 was the birth of it, I'd say, and so we are currently in our second full year. So the way that we provide social emotional support to our scholars, we also duplicate that to our parents.
Nice.
We are considered one of 2 nonprofits in the state of Nevada to be a 2-generational recognized organization by the Ascend Network, which is a national program that provides resources, guidance as to how an organization can really encompass the whole family. So here at CORE, we don't only just provide services to our scholars after school, we provide services throughout the whole calendar year to the whole family. So Parent Academy was born out of that necessity to ensure that we continue to provide those services to the whole family, specifically the parents. And so Parent Academy focuses on highlighting the goals of the parents. Many parents, we've asked, what is your goal? And a lot of them really go back to their child. I want my child to graduate high school. I want my child to be a good person. And we're like, wonderful. We're already taking care of that through CORE Academy. What is your goal? And they freeze. And I've had several parents tell me, I've never been asked that. I'm so busy. I've been just surviving to make sure that my 5 kids go through the school system, and now I have 1 left to graduate. That's what I care about. And so when we ask them those questions, it's a big aha moment for them, and they realize, you know what? I do have goals. I want to learn English, which is our number 1 goal. I want to go back to school. I want to get a different job. I want to evolve.
Yes.
I want to be a better parent.
I see something here that's very important. Affordable computer training.
Yes.
Talk about that a little bit.
Yes. So, in addition to our English classes, which we partner with the FDR Institute, which they're located at Stupak, we also have partnered with ACT, the Affordable Computer Training, and Joni is behind that. Yes, Joni Flowers is behind that, and they provide a plethora of workshops, like 2 sessions, 8-hour, 4-hour days. A lot of our parents are really at the basics, keyboarding. I just want to know how to use a computer, how to navigate the URL in Google. So she developed one specifically for our parents.
Nice.
Because she connects with CSN instructors, and so, we always ask, do you have Spanish speakers? Because majority of our parents are Spanish speakers. She accommodated that. We've had parents take Excel classes to help them advance within their workplace and providing them with certificates. So it's really super helpful for their growth in their employment.
Are you guys also, and I just thought of this just based on past experience, dealing with students with credit deficiencies? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so in that case, we always meet the students where they're at, right? With all of our programs, Core Academy for the Scholars, Parent Academy for the parents, even the alumni, we meet them where they're at. So if a scholar needs credit deficiency and we focus, hey, what options does your school have? Because we always go back to their home school. Like, have you talked to your counselor? Because scholars are gravitating to us, but we're like, hey, let's reach out to your networks. Let's connect you. Let's learn how to advocate for ourselves. Whether it's identifying something in the summer, whether it's financial support for the family, whether it's transportation. We have a connection with RTC for bus passes. So obviously, any barrier that comes along, we find a way. It's not like, oh, we can't help you anymore. It's like, how can we go through this?
Yeah, how can you help? And I'm sure as things go along and you find out things, you start implementing them into the program. That's great. So it's always ever evolving.
Yes.
Man, that's beautiful.
So I know that thank you so much, Celinda. I'm going to ask a couple of our other friends who are here with us a couple of questions. I don't know what everybody's specialties are, but you all are deep over here. So I'm very interested in knowing what Renisha does with the team over here, and maybe she could
is the brains behind the outfit, AK.
Okay, well, she's sitting right here with her own microphone, so I'm hoping she's gonna tell me about her brains, and maybe she could even tell me a little bit about the emergency relief grants that are on the other page here. Hi, Renisha.
Hi, how are you, AK?
I'm very well. Welcome to the breakdown.
Thank you. So
you're celebrating 3 years. How's that been?
So it's celebrating 3 years of the birth of Parent Academy, and 7 years for Core overall. So that has been wonderful. And I have actually been with Core for the last 4.5 years. So
you got to see the big leap, the important one that actually makes the work feel like, yes, we're doing it. We're really making this impact.
Yes.
So do you all is it just middle school students? And do the students have to actually be enrolled in the schools that you all are in?
So because we are a long-term program, traditionally we do start with middle school students. So we start with the students in 6th grade and we work with them all the way through.
That is so amazing. That is so amazing to be able to travel with a student throughout their career. And I'm sure you all know a lot of times organizations want to go for the high school students just because they're the loudest, essentially, when it comes to the issues. But if we really want to make impact, it has to start at that middle school level when they're starting to, one, find themselves, two, look for themselves at the same time they're finding themselves. And a lot of times what they're looking at wasn't ready to be in their position themselves. And so now that whole generational curse thing continues. And so by you all not only starting with them at the middle school age, but also tackling the parenting aspect of it, because I guess the biggest barrier is always sending them back to that environment. And if you're not able to buy a hotel building and say they come and actually live here, a lot of times all of the work that you do Monday through Friday is completely sucked up on Saturday and Sunday, and Monday it's always a reset button. But apparently you all have really figured out how to crack the code with that graduation rate for your scholars. College acceptance rate. But then that also means essentially your graduation rate has improved. Is that right?
Yes. And so what you were just talking about, we really try to make sure that our parents, even our parents and caregivers, do understand exactly what's going on the daily basis. So they are given tools, talking points, all of the information for the curriculum that we're going through at the time, so that when the students, our scholars, get home, they can have those conversations with their families. And then also through Parent Academy, they're able to come in and learn different tools and techniques, like how to bond with their teenage children, you know. And so what that does is, so we start in the 6th grade, and we've had 2 really pretty large graduating classes. In the class of 2019 was our inaugural graduating class. They were with core from 6th grade all the way through. And they graduated in 2019. There's about 75 graduates.
Wow.
100% graduation rate from high school.
That's what I'm talking about.
And so, all of them are still part of our alumni network right now, and they're graduating from college. They're coming back.
To mentor the young ones and get more people attracted to the program.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Are you all looking to expand into more schools?
We are. We just received a grant from the city of North Las Vegas to expand into schools in North Las Vegas.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we're going to be solidifying those schools tomorrow with CCSD.
Well, I sure hope that y'all put Desert Rose on your list. I don't know if it's on there. I don't know if it's too late to add it in.
Well, because we start in middle school, so they are going to be middle school.
Oh, that's right. We started in middle school and follow the students.
Yes.
Man, I wish y'all had some for those students over there.
Yeah, but some of our high school students do go to schools all over the city, because once they get to high school, they're everywhere.
It's a good chance that your students won't make it to Desert Rose because of what you all are doing. But no, because of the work you're putting in. Right. Desert Rose is a credit deficiency in adult high school. It's a good chance that your students won't ever have to go to Desert Rose, because you all are already taking them by the hand in middle school and walking them through the entire process, never allowing them to feel alone, never allowing them to be in a moment where they feel like they have to choose their home situation over going to school, and they fall behind in credits, and now they have to go to a different school, because you all have essentially removed all of the barriers that would make that necessary. And it appears too that this definitely would help with the truancy issue that was really big in CCSD post COVID and especially pre-COVID as well. So now you all are basically saying all of those issues that the students were saying, hey, this is what's keeping me from coming to school. You're saying, no, it's not anymore. It's not. That's absolutely amazing. This is beautiful.
It sounds like to me Lady AK could be a great representative for CORE, a spokesperson, breaking it down.
This was needed, y'all.
She got the elevator pitch.
Hey, I would pitch for you all to receive more funding so that you could have more staff, so that you could be in more schools.
Please do.
Well, because the thing is you all have already proven. Put it this way. Let's just get down to it. When you go in and you're looking for grants, a lot of times they want to say, well, show us your progress. We need to see your work. What do your stats look like? But you all have that already. And you have student testimonial and I'm sure parent testimonial who are saying this program absolutely worked. So then now when they're talking about all of these big federal funds that they've been fighting for, that they put into the campaign talking points, that's the money that you all should be directly seeing, because the first thing that comes to mind when I hear a big amount of money is being released for children's mental health and to help with this and help with that and underserved children is, how do you all vet those organizations that you're sending that money to before you say that the programs don't work and throw your hands up? Top of the hour.
It's KCEP 88.1 FM Las Vegas, owned and operated by the Economic Opportunity Board of Clark County, broadcasting in HD1, soon to be HD2 and 3. We are the all-new Power 88.1, where we are one, the people station. That was my smooth C voice. You know?
I was about to end. It was like, you sound like a little Hellcat. But essentially you all have everything that they claim that they want, but the bigger thing that you have is a way to say, hey, the money that you fought for actually worked, instead of it appearing to the community that that's just another way for them to funnel money out of the taxpayers' hands and into whatever private purses are hanging around. And that's just what it looks like. I'm just saying it, but that's what it appears to be. especially if you say, I have something tangible here that says that this works, y'all should be flooded with funding the way that I see it. As so to say, well, you know what? If this is what they did with a handful of schools in 7 years, but 3 years officially, if this is what they've done with this, then let's put a test and see what they could do with an entire from 6th grade to high school. Say 6 years. Let's give them a 6-year contract to see what they does. It's clear you're gonna slap it in the face. It's absolutely clear. But then what now, and I always say this, what happens to those jobs that are there specifically because people struggle? What happens? A lot of people appear to advocate for families and students, but essentially their job will be non-existent if these problems are fixed.
And that's the goal.
That's the goal.
I sure hope
so. Not to be a reason for there to be a core.
Right.
Please.
Exactly.
So, quick question, if I may. So, and this could be for anybody on the team, Jazz. So, and I'm curious, how does a youth actually identifies, or a parent identifies their children with CORE? How is that process? What does that look like?
Good question.
Well, that is a great question. Well, what we do, essentially, we reach out to the teachers at the schools that we are at, and we talk to them about what CORE does. And we try to get buy-in. We have open houses at their schools and invite them to see exactly what we do and how the program works internally. So you're getting a bird's eye view at what we do with more or less in person. And so what happens with that is we get buy-in from those teachers, and they already have students in mind that would be ideal for the program, because they know that not every student might be ideal for CORE, but then CORE is ideal for every student. And what I mean by that is we don't turn kids back once they're referred. So, and we're proud of being able to do that because we're being able to be part of their success. And I was one of those types of students that I grew up in an underserved community, and I needed that extra attention, and somebody took enough time for me to become successful. And so the kind of work that we do, what my very favorite part of what we do is watching our team work with the kids, because they take out so much time and put in so much effort with those kids, and it's coming from the heart. It's not because they're getting paid a certain amount of money. Right. It's not because somebody's watching them. It's actually because they love the work that they do. And I told you before that it's hard work and not hard work.
Yes.
And I mean that.
I like that.
And my very favorite part is just watching them work, because I was a young practitioner at one point where I had to engage young people and families in a meaningful way where I could make an impact. And being able to see, you can see it. It's like when you know somebody is in it for the right reasons. That's the passion that we look for in our employees and our team members. And that's my very favorite part about what we do.
And I'm glad that you gave us tremendous clarity on that, because, again, there are a lot of parents, as we've experienced here on the breakdown, we have a lot of parents that are very inquisitive about the needs, and particularly because of the demographics that 88 serves, in our immediate demographics, the zip codes.
Right, absolutely.
We'll get a lot of parents that are actually calling in because, there's a lot of challenges that are going on.
Yes.
And naturally, you have a lot of grandparents raising, that age demographic.
Yes.
So ultimately I already know that I'm going to get a call or a text from someone saying, hey, Lou, I heard about it. How can we become involved?
I get those same calls.
Yeah, naturally. Yep. How can we become involved? And of course, everybody here from an 88 perspective, especially on the breakdown, we're into passion projects.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Especially me, I'm into passion projects. And so again, I know with the deliverables that you guys are speaking of, the needs are going to get greater.
Right.
And so with 100% here, 100% there, 100% there, internally, everybody's doing their job.
Right.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's great.
So much. Again, a lot of it is, and you asked about how kids get referred. It's those conscientious teachers, but also the conscientious parents who just want more for their students, more for their scholars.
Right.
And one thing about when I worked in the juvenile justice system, what I saw was when you were working with a youth and you was getting ready to get him to turn the corner, then he was not his parents might not be getting the same information at the same time. So the growth was completely different. Right? And so in CORE, the 2-gen approach helps solidify that family unit in terms of what their goals are, because they're seeing each other grow at the exact same time.
Yeah.
And it's something to be said.
That's inspiring.
And another question, excuse me, Craig.
Yeah.
And again, of course, I'm a youth professional, been that for quite a few years. But
yes, sir.
Let me just talk about the behavioral aspect, because again, in order to get them to learn, you have to treat the behaviors.
Yes.
And so can you talk about that and what, of course, coming out of juvenile justice, what has that looked like for CORE?
Well, I think that the dynamic with CORE is that you have people caring and kids get to see it, right? And kids know right off the bat. They know right away if you're doing it for a check or if you're doing it because you're passionate about it. And so what you'll see is an assimilation to the environment, right? Because we come in and there's the way CORE does things. Ms. Vita Johnson has provided an opportunity for kids to come into certain type of music and set a certain kind of music, and the lighting and everything is a certain kind of way. So there's an expectation for you to kind of get yourself together before we start programming, and she gives them that opportunity. And in doing that, then what happens is people see, they model the behavior, and then next thing you know, somebody that hasn't been in that environment then assimilates to that same kind of posture, because they know that this is the expectation, because I've seen it exhibited. And so now I know how to come in here. And so now my behavior when I come in here, when I come into the classroom and come to the site, I know that this is the expectation of me. And when we redirect, it's not a hard redirect. It's usually like a 3 claps type deal, and they're redirected. And I've never seen that in my 30 years of working with kids ever.
I'd like to add that at CORE we create a sense of belonging.
Absolutely.
And when youth feel engaged and like they belong to something, they don't want to mess that up.
Right.
So, and they already know that we're going to get reports of what they're doing in the hallways, down in so-and-so's classroom. That information is going to come back to us, and we're going to talk to them about that as well and see, is there another way you could have handled that? So when we create that sense of belonging, they really buy into it,
Go ahead.
One thing I also wanted to add to that, like we're talking about the space, we're talking about the environment that we create and the feeling of belonging. Another piece that is super important is our adult support. So we have what we call social emotional champions. They are the individuals that really do deep dive case management for those individuals. So let's say there is a scholar that comes into the CORE Academy classroom after school, and we set the environment and we redirect, and they are just misbehaving. They may have had a bad day. Something may have happened. Because we have these staff members with social work background, psychology background, MFT background, they are able to pull them to the side away from the CORE Academy program and talk to them and really get to know their situation and be curious as to why, what is going on. I want to learn more. And because we have the whole story of the whole family, we know, hey, maybe parents lost their job or they're getting a divorce. Maybe we have a lot more information that the scholars may have not directly shared with us, but because we work with 2-gen support, we are able to kind of navigate that conversation differently. So having that one-on-one adult regularly check in on you, text you, call you, just send you words of encouragement really builds that confidence within the scholar.
Excellent. So we have another minute. Our next guest is here. So last words for Mr. Jones and the team. Before we transition into our next guest, you have the floor.
I just think that if you have a child at West Prep, and I want to say shout out to Principal Yolanda Brown, because she's been instrumental in the success at West Prep and allowing CORE to be at that campus, and it's just been phenomenal in terms of just allowing us not just to have one cohort, but getting ready to run a second one. But if you have a child at West Prep, talk to the parent, and you're in need of redirection, talk to your teacher, go to the school personally and ask for CORE.
Yeah.
And put a referral in. If you have a child at Democracy Prep, same thing. If you have a child that's at Brindley, we're getting ready to go into Brindley, I believe the 16th of February. I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So we're moving and grooving, and we just been pre-approved for 2 schools in North Las Vegas that will be announced soon. So we are really trying to make an impact on our community. I'm community driven. Been working with these kids like a lot of my peers, and I'm excited about it because I see the results.
Yes.
And I think that we could not do it if it wasn't for Bev Rogers, Roy Reed, Michelle Sanders with the Rogers Foundation, because CORE is powered by the Rogers Foundation. So the work that we do actually comes from their school of thought.
Excellent. Well, we want to thank y'all for coming on.
Absolutely.
And
thank you for allowing it.
Yes.
I want to thank them for their work.
Yes. Thank you for your work. And if you want to score, connect with CORE.
You know what, bye y'all.
There you go. Score, connect with CORE.
There you go.
Hey, Lou gave me the bounce pass, so I had to take it. You know what I mean?
That's what we do.
Yep. So we're gonna transition until our next guest.
T-shirts
thank you once
coming
again.
T-shirts
Yay,
coming soon.
T-shirts coming. We got a closet full
Y'all,
of
them t-shirts don't never show up, so don't nobody come.
we got
You gonna see this one.
We got 8 years full of T-shirts
That
in the
don't
closet.
exist.
We got ideas, baby.
We do.
And some peanuts around
Hey,
here somewhere.
With the marketing.
With CORE.
These nuts.
We finna have these T-shirts in AK's closet.
You know what, bye y'all. Brother Paul, please put us on.
Hey, Brother
transition.
Paul, transition, please. Thank you.